Welcome everyone. Today we have a pretty big patch with JULL added. That's how he called it. We call it, how do I call it? Today we have JULL added and also the round length reduced. There's a lot of changes. It feels like another big patch. So let me highlight some of the crucial changes. Firstly, you get to put 3 units down on the board and there's no PvP round. So no, it's no PvE round. So at the start you're facing a player right at the start with 3 units. So at the start, you might run a losing streak if you want and get some free rolls that can help you in the mid game. After that, players start with 5 gold and interest is kept at 30. So what that means is you don't have to save gold up to 50 anymore, go to 30 and you can spend gold on top of 30. This is a really good change and quicken the pace of the meta. What I tend to do after testing is I tend to level to 6, 7 or 8 even and start rolling there. 8 is the greediest to go to level. Definitely not worth it to go to 9. So level at 8 and start rolling for some legendaries if your build needs, say Deadeye with Gyro, say the Trobolot if you need that. Other than that, rolling at 7 is really good. Every round you get 7 gold now. That also fasten the pace of the game, makes saving up less worth it because you actually get a lot of gold every round. In the mid game, you pretty much get 10 gold every round because you save up for 3 gold and you also get the 7 gold. Without quick round, you also get items every 5 rounds. And those items start with the tier 1 and tier 2, it can go further. Some of the items that are really good is the aura ones like Veteran's Offering, and other items that can stack up with damage. Data this is also not bad. So definitely look into the items, and right now we don't get to see a lot of tier 5 items because we don't survive that long. Hopefully they change that in the future, but right now some of the tier 4 items are really cool as well, especially Butterfly. I love the item back in Dota 2. Now, one thing to notice is the units damage and the round damage, they don't feel they do a lot more damage at the start of the game, but as you go progressing to the later stage of the game, as you get higher tier units, you do feel like they do a little more damage, which is okay. Not that much damage, but overall, this whole change of flow of the game actually increased the reduce the time of the game down to about 20 to 30 minutes, which is a really good change. Reduced from 40 to 50 minutes, that's like a massive change. The only downside is I do feel like we're always fighting as a player without a break in PvE. Usually PvE lets you to think about your decisions, plan for items, etc. But here we're actually just fighting. It's okay though, because pace is much faster. There are some general changes which we'll leave it for here. And Underlords. Now, from the feedback of the community, and I like this change a lot because you don't lock into Underlord. You got to pick Underlord at round 10 and round 2 for knockout. Yes, now the Underlords have 2 kind of style. One is a fighting style, so basically they have 2 talent trees. You pick the Underlord, you permanently get those talent trees. So each Underlord have an offensive and a support talent tree. Right now, after testing, the offensive Hagen talent tree is not bad, and the support talent tree for JULL, which is the new Underlord, is superbly stronger. He heals for so much, no one dies, and if you build a healer or any kind of frontline healer like a Train Protector around him, it's really good. Really powerful. But the offensive JULL is very weak. I feel like he does not do enough because he dies in the front line to get his spells off. And Underlord starts with lower cooldown, which does favor the healers and the supporters more than the offensive units because they keep units alive for longer. That said though, Hagen with offense still does a lot more damage. So we can quickly read through those, but the majority of the highlight here is some of the skills from the existing Underlord was removed. Here NS6 loses Pure Pain, and the support NS6 will have Enthrall, the damage NS6 will have the Enthrall, the support healing NS6 will have the Goblin, and they already have the natural talent tree with -5 armor and also the AoE stun over here. With Hagen, he lost his supercharge. It's a little unfortunate, I really like this supercharge, but I feel like he still does a lot more damage. One thing to highlight is Let's Go Crazy for the support Hagen. He gives your entire team attack speed now. He's like an ultra troll, which is better because previously, if he goes Let's Go Crazy, it's not enough. So Let's Go Crazy can work on offensive team, say the Knights or something with the Hunters maybe, it can definitely work. Of course, the fighting style Hagen with a lower cooldown, he does a lot more damage with the bombs as well. This is the unit I want to look at. This is the new Underlord. June has checked it off. June reflects 50% of the melee damage back to the attackers, which is in front of him, by the way, only melee damage, not the range damage, and he heals for the melee damage and also the range attack damage taken, which is really good. That makes him tankier. Now if you look at the offensive one, the reflect damage is delivered over time and doubled, which he doesn't really do that much damage, keep that in mind. The healing one is very good because damage is converted into healing split evenly in the front lines. If June is next to only 1 or 2 units, he heals him for so much himself, which is really strong. Second to that, Barriers of Fun. This is his offensive ability. He just rolls barriers across the map and hits them for pretty decent damage and give allies attack speed. Downside is, it can only hit 1 unit pretty much once or twice and it would not be able to kill them. And the reduction to magic and the increased damage is okay, but not the biggest game changer. It's this one that makes him stronger with Happy Hour. June will pretty much give you entire army unkillability for the next 7 seconds. Because if you know Conquer's Realm with his bolt with his ulti from Dota 2, it's very similar to that. But now your entire team only takes 30% of the damage and the rest is taken over 7 seconds. So this together with his healing, and if you have a healing team, say like, the druids, the healers, or something with the warlocks, this makes your team unkillable for the next part. And one thing to highlight with June is he also have a passive. His passive, Hogan's passive is to set units on fire, and NS6 passive is, what is the passive? I need to check on. Oh, he summons a little dude. June's passive is that he gets armor for enemies that surround him. If there's 3 enemies surrounding him, he gets 5 armor each, so he gets 15 armor. When he's fighting a melee unit, he always have a high armor. I think he starts with 10 armor, he goes up to 15 armor later game. So that makes him even tankier. Definitely look out for the healing druid. Healing June. He works in almost any team with 1 or 2 support frontline. Now, one thing to notice is due to a lot of feedbacks and dislikes of the JULL, they decided to take away the JULL, but they're doing hero rotations now. With hero rotation, a lot of the interesting heroes are taken away for this patch and some of the lines are removed. This will be adjusted with each patch to keep things interesting, with each season that is. So we'll do is anti-mage up to Wind Ranger. The biggest loss here will be the Luna for the Knights. We have the Phantom Assassin for the Assassins, Techies for the Inventors, and the Elusives are gone. You don't have Templar as well, so no more Elusive Assassins. Tight Hunter for the Scaled and also Warriors is pretty big too. So pretty sizable change. Followed by that, we have the hero changes. Broodmother, the gold cost of Broodmother went down by 1 gold and the health is reduced. All her spells are the same. This is a really big buff for the Broodmother because it's cheaper, easier to find, and makes the insects much more available. Second to that, Clockwork has a lower cost, and Clockwork's change of stats is okay, and it's easier to find Clockwork as the 3-star unit, which I have found in one of my games, very powerful still. So I think this is a good buff to the Inventors and Scrappies to have Clockwork more available, because Techies is pretty much gone for them for the late game. Give them more solid early game and mid game. Legion Commander, nothing changed except he went to 2 cost. So if you're a fan of Legion Commander, definitely give it a try. What he works with is with the Brutes, with the Druids, and maybe with a balanced team with more alliance. Shadow Shaman is no longer a Shaman. Yes, Shadow Shaman is a Druid. Keep that in mind. If you find Enchantress and Shadow Shaman, try to aim for them to 3-star, and then build 2 more Druids with Train Protector, Io, or Lone Druid, and they're very good. Definitely one of the solid mid-game teams. And although Hex duration is reduced, but Shadow Shaman definitely got a buff here. You can build Shadow Shaman with the Trolls, and you can build the Enchantress and the Dazzle for the healers. Slug got a change though, I'm not sure if it's a good one. I've seen Slug work, no one ever gets a 4 cost Slug to 3-star anymore, because it's less Slug to be found in the game, and although the stats are good, 2-star Slug is not enough in the late game. So I feel like that's a nerf to Slug, even though he gets better stats. But if you look at this, a 2-star Slug will have pretty much the same stolen ability compared to a 3-star Slug, and the HP wise, a 2-star Slug will have 1800, which is a little higher So 2-star stack is much better than before. Nothing too special about Starfire, just run her with the dragons that will work. Sven though, Sven got a buff here. I feel like removing the AC effect is really good for the knights. he actually ruins knights because he's got an AC effect. Now Sven is a 4-cost unit with Cleave and God Strength. He does not work at 1-star, but at 2-star with any items, he can be really good. Viper is no longer scaled, but Viper is back to assassins because they took so many elusive assassins out. Dragon Assassin can work, but I do feel like Assassin's supposed to have a mid-game with a PA, with a TA. No, they don't have that. So, I'm not sure about Assassins. I haven't tested them yet, but I've faced them. They do lose to the Scrappies, because Scrappies are tankier. They also lose to the Brutes, because they just take down Assassins easily with the 4 Brutes. And lastly, they're not that great against the Druids if I have the team bulked up. Waver, the one that keeps changing. He or she or he, it is now a Scrappy insect hunter. I haven't got a chance to try hunters because the removal of Wind Ranger and the whole changeover. But Waver with Scrappies are definitely good. With insect Scrappies, really good. And oh, what a big patch, guys! There's item changes. So a bunch of items are removed out of the game, and some of them are pretty good. Some of them are so-so. Soccer's was so good, but it's gone. Expand Roast is gone, but don't you worry about tier 5 items because you will never see them anyways at the moment. No one makes the round 35 at all. I don't see the possibility of doing so because people are more aggressive and the rounds end so much faster. So hopefully they change the rates of tier 5. The tier 4 items, everything else, nothing too special. The Helm of the Dying is gone. That's interesting. Embarrassment's gone, so keep those in mind. Let's look at the new item that's added. Headdress. So Headdress is a new item, gives everyone 20 healing per second. It will be amplified by more healing with the healers. Kaya increases ability damage by 20%. And this also amplified with the mage damage, so if you're building a mage, get a few of those, that'd be great. Moby Mask, really strong with a heavy hitter or lifestealer. Actually, lifestealer don't really need that, to be honest, he already heals a lot. So heavy hitter like the Crayon Pain, the Demons, the Doom, the Chaos Knight really likes this one. Talisman of Evasion feels a little underwhelming because sometimes you evade, sometimes you don't. And without elusives, you can't stack 100% evasion, which you can't in the first place, I think. But Health Booster, oh, that's right, HP is nerfed. Now the HP has been reduced to 1.5 times the old HP instead of the 2 times old HP. So HP has been reduced by 25% for all units. That means more power goes to the units that does damage, less power goes to the tanks or the warriors. This also punishes the inventors because they explode for less damage. Because they got an inventor nerf. That was not scaled. That was scaled down by 50%. Now the HP nerf came in, the inventors are not buffed by, slightly. Because they didn't bother. Because of that, inventors are slightly nerfed. Especially with our techies. But still though, they're strong. I'll show you guys a replay very soon. They're very strong. Voice Storm is very powerful. This item is pretty much the tier 2 item that's disguised as a tier 1 item. If you have a Voice Storm Bounty Hunter at 2-star, he will shuriken non-stop. And many of the units that enjoys mana will just be unstoppable if they're alive. You give it to a Tinker, give it to something else. It's a very good item, even in the late game. Tier 2, Crystallis, very good. You get the damage, you get the crit. Desolator is... I don't even know what to say about Desolator. It's like Bloodstone before the nerf Bloodstone. It's 5 seconds though. So it's so-so if you go for full physical. Hand of Midas is pretty good for the attack speed and also chance of getting gold. What's really good that's coming, not Hope of Venom because it's just damage over time. Not very special, I think. What's really good is the cloak and the pike. The cloak will give 50 more health each time you get a kill. Imagine if you have a kill stacker like Beastmaster or something, or someone with a dead eye like the sniper, you can really benefit. Similarly with a pike with +4 damage, you can really get more damage this way. Let's see, the tier 3 items, blame I went to tier 3, which is not bad, +5 armor is pretty decent. Scepter. So you get 5 mana per second and whoever attacks you will be tornadoed into the air. So they'll be disabled. I think they should also purge, but it doesn't say. It's a decent defensive item. It's like the 4 staff, but in a different way, and a cheaper version of the chicken scepter. Next to that, we have Silver Edge, plus attack speed, health, and break unit. Break used to be very strong in the game, now it's not so I don't recommend this item. There's so many other good tier 3 items here. You know, Mech is good, Master Menace, Maelstrom, Basher. Tiger Buddy got less HP. Oh, this scale Tiger Buddy down. Why would they do that? Got a head though. He got a new cosmetic. Better pick him, right? This is one of the top tier item I feel. Veteran's offered. You get plus 10% damage, 1 Savage Alliance before they nerf the Savage, plus 5 armor. Oh gosh, this is like a Soccer's kind of style, but cheaper, and also lifesteal. So this is a superbly strong item. I definitely recommend trying it out because it has 2 cell radius. It's ridiculous, right? So many good items to pick over Silver Edge. Tier 4. We'll be focusing the tier 4 items here because we won't get tier 5 items. Iron Disc, I tried it out. The frontline tank does not die that easily, and notice that when you are proccing the invulnerability, you are disarmed for 2 seconds. So don't give to a unit that wants to do damage like Slack, because he will disarm himself. Give it to a unit that can cast spells like maybe Train Protector. So this is really good for the frontline tank. It's also good for the mages. Also good for the mage tank. Maybe Tinker as well. So keep it in mind, you do disarm yourself. Butterfly. 35 damage, 35 attack speed, 35 evasion. Really good item, and it's well rounded. I think it's great for any build that can use damage. Dagon. Once per battle for 12 seconds. That's a sizable buff, but so many better items than Dagon. Diffusal Blade. Reduce 20 mana per hit, and equip heroes, so when you hit them, they can't get mana. It's an okay item, but for a tier 4, it's less powerful unless you have a fast hitting unit. Say a hunter or someone else, maybe a waver. It can work, but not a top tier. Nothing too special here. The new tier 5. Oh my. Have not seen them yet. Oh, the buff to BKB, was it? Let's have a look. The buff to BKB. Oh, BKB now grants 45 damage in addition to its other effects. Oh my god, that's big. Thank you, Rainbow. Oh, I need to pick BKB next time. That's really good. Okay, BKB is a big pickup. Absolutely. So, plus 45 damage to BKB. Come on, you need to show them on like a new here. I really missed that. So, I was going to say, Aegis on Immortal sounds good on the paper, but it's not great. It's like an IO effect, but you revive after 5 seconds. So 5 seconds later, your friends are all dead. You're like, what have you done? And then they kill you again the second time. It's like they camped you. So I don't think this is the greatest item. It can work situationally. If it says resets all cooldowns, it can be great on 100. Nothing too special. Horn of Alpha. So 2 seconds after battle, you get a Thunder Height. You get a free unit, which is pretty much the size of a tier 3 unit. So the HP size is tier 3 unit, good attack speed, good attack range, so it's tier 2.5. It is a tier 5 item, so it's not bad. Radiance now gives the chance to miss, which is really good if you get on a tank. Satanic gives you health and also lifesteal for 200% for 3 seconds. The downside is, well, unless it's a big unit like Slack, you can't really make use of it. But if it's a Slack, hey, it's pretty big. Tomb is a tier 5 now. Zombies got a buff, but with a Tomb tier 5 with that tiny range, oof, it's not that great. This is a really interesting one. Virtue of the Tyrant. With this item, units around you cannot die. So if you give to a tanky 3-star with a 10,000 HP axe, this would be pretty interesting. I think I want to try it out if I ever get a tier 5 item. Massive change to alliance because Elusive's gone, Shaman's gone, Primordials now only have 2 alliance. So those are really destroyed alliance. But the Druids are back. The additional kind of like changeovers with units means more power to the Scrappies, to the Druids, to the Brutes. And also the insects because the Brute Mother is changed with cost. Lots of UI updates, and before we finish, something to keep in mind is that the Bloodbound contract now is a tier 1 item. It's actually less likely to get a lot of that, so it's an indirect nerf to the Bloodbound. I think that's all for the testing I had after the patch came out. So if you guys have any insights or anything, definitely let me know. Thank you so much for watching this patch review, guys. We'll be playing more with the Dota Underlords, definitely. Thank you.